Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined by the man who always keeps a peeled boiled egg on his bedside table. It's Greg. How are you today, Greg?
Doing very well. I can see behind you there, you've got your Union Jack bunting up, you've got your Charles and Di wedding plates and stuff. We're recording this on the day of the coronation. That's our mutual friend shared a message with us earlier, outraged because he's in the UK, and on every radio station that he's got programmed into his car stereo is just the coverage, coverage from the coronation. I'm not sure what he was looking for. He was trying to find see if Off the Ball or something was on. I don't know.
Yeah, last night my wife said to me, "Oh, what time's the coronation tomorrow?" I said, "How the fuck am I supposed to know? I'm not fucking interested in that shite." I said, "Oh, I thought you would know." I said, "No." So I had to look up the BBC schedule effectively, and I was like, coverage starts at 7:30 UK time, so 8:30 for us. What? They don't get up that early. I said, well, no, that's when coverage starts. Like there'll be a whole
preamble
thing beforehand, and then it'll, I don't know when the actual coronation will be. So, but yeah, no, we didn't watch it because I'm not interested in that in the slightest.
No, my wife was keen to watch it. She sort of dipped in and out of it. So it was I think the BBC's coverage was on YouTube. So she had it on, and I was cooking because we had some people over for dinner. So I was just sort of dropping in and out, just making unkind comments about the various dignitaries that were arriving. I didn't see any of the actual coronation. I just saw people sort of showing up at Westminster Abbey, but not my cup of tea, gotta be honest. No disrespect to anybody whose cup of tea it very much is, and evidently it's a lot of people's cup of tea. Not a lot of people in Edinburgh, based on the picture that we saw earlier, the big screen in Princess Gardens. Not many people turned up to watch it, but each to their own.
Exactly, each to their own. I think there are a lot of people that are into that kind of thing. Obviously, we're not, but each to their own. It's as long as it keeps them happy and entertained, and they get to wave their Union Jack and bow to old Sausage Fingers Charlie.
Yeah, let's not give him any more time than he deserves on our podcast. Do you remember the other day? I was talking to you about my daughter's playlist that I was quite surprised at some of her choices. So she's kind of moved off of rock music and stuff and moved on to hip hop. Which I wasn't totally unsurprised by, because she plays the bass, and a lot of hip hop music is very bassy, and she's mixed race and everything else, and it's and I'm a big fan of hip hop too, although maybe not as big a fan as I was years ago. But some of her choices on her playlist may have given me a bit of cause for concern, if I'm being honest. So she's got the Real Slim Shady on there, but from Eminem, which is kind of fair enough, and she's got Stan, which is perhaps I thought she might have had a bit more discerning, but anyway, she's only 14, so I'll give her a break. Then she moves on to Ass Like That by Eminem, Keep Their Heads Ringing by Dr. Dre, Beat His Ass by Big Money Hundun. Never heard of him. Maybe. Me and Your Mama by Childish Gambino is on there too. But I think perhaps the most concerning one was the song that I raised to you, No Vaseline by Ice Cube. I'm not entirely a stranger to that song.
No,
I'm not sure I want my 14-year-old daughter listening to it and its connotations.
Well, indeed, yes. There are. I don't know. I mean, I would have been, maybe slightly older than that when I was listening to hip hop. With those kind of lyrics. Yeah, I think I was maybe about 16, 17 when I was in my hip hop. No, a bit later actually, because I was still in a Britpop kind of till then. And it was a bit later I got into hip hop. But
I was about my near come lately to hip hop. I think it was really sort of Eminem, which then made me go back and listen to older stuff. I was a bit dismissive, if I'm honest, about hip hop when I was in my teens. I was a kind of guitar music purist. I mean, if I'd known how much pleasing swearing there was in hip hop music, I can imagine I would quite enjoyed it as a teenager, because that was the only reason that I first got into Guns N' Roses, if I'm being totally honest, because I knew there was lots of swear words in the songs.
In fact, that's a good point. That was probably my gateway to Guns N' Roses, and it was because I borrowed my now brother-in-law. At the time, I borrowed his copy of Use Your Illusion 2 purely because I don't think I'd really listened to Guns N' Roses that much, and then I borrowed his copy of Use Your Illusion 2, and I think I listened to Get in the Ring on repeat, and that that kind of led me to...
Is that the little monologue he does when he's roasting all the music journalists? Yeah. I mean, I used to know that off by heart, and I think if my arm was up my back, I could probably do it off by heart again as a 44-year-old man.
Well, we can maybe do a Scottish version for the Swally as a little promo and see if you can remember it there.
Where we just roast Scottish journalists that don't like. Do you know something else that occurred to me this week? Do you remember last year, for whatever reason, I had it in my head that you once in your life didn't like dogs? Do you remember?
Yeah, I've no idea where that came from.
The reason I was thinking about it is because I found out that our wee dog that we used to have, that we got rehomed with some friends of the family when we moved here, sadly passed away, but he was no boy. He had a good life, and it was and I was thinking to myself, why did I think that Nicky didn't like dogs? And then I remembered what it was. Do you remember the time you came over for a friend of ours' wedding, and I picked you up from the airport in Glasgow, and I think you were keen to just get to the hotel, but I insisted that you come back to my house because I wanted to drop the car off, and I wanted to come into town with you to go to the pub, and I knew that my wife would have a harder time saying no if you were with me, so I made you come all back to the house, and we had a little dog then, and he was sort of jumping up and stuff, and I thought to myself, Nicky he looks a wee bit unsure about the dog. I think that's why I had it in my head that you didn't like dogs.
I think if you look on, I don't even know what it would have been. Was it Instagram or Facebook or something at the time, or something? I remember taking a photo with Louis jumping up on me and posting it and being like, "I've made a new best friend." Like, I fucking love that little guy. He was amazing. He was so cute. I'm so sad to hear he's passed away. That's what a shame. No, I loved him. He was brilliant.
Oh well.
I genuinely don't know. No, he was jumping up on me. Yeah, and I remember I've got a photo somewhere. I don't know if it was that wedding. It must be on my phone. I'm gonna have a look for that in a minute. I definitely posted that somewhere. It's online. Somewhere, definitely.
Okay.
I will find that during this episode.
Have a look for it.
Wonderful. All right. Well, shall we have a look at what's been happening in Scotland over the last couple of weeks, Greg?
Yep. Cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg, so what have you seen in Scotland over the last couple of weeks that you want to tell me all about today?
So my first story comes from the Daily Record on the 29th of April, just making a note of the reporter's name, John Brady, so I can build it into my Get in the Ring Scottish tribute for later on. The headline is, Glasgow punter halts stuntman's street show after chasing him through spiked hurdles. So there's a video, which I'll maybe put the link to on the old Swally Twitter feed if you want to see it. A video of a Glasgow punter who tried to copy a street performer's impressive stunts has gone viral. No surprise that it hasn't gone viral because he did a really good job of copying the stunts, obviously. The clip, which was filmed on Argyle Street in Glasgow city centre, shows athlete Liam Collins undertaking his stunt runner act. The impressive stuntman runs through flaming and spike-encircled hurdles whilst blindfolded in front of crowds. But one spectator decided he'd have a go at the daring act.
Oh, Jesus.
Only in Glasgow. And charged at the burning hoops behind Collins, crashing into the first gate with an enormous clang as shocked spectators gasp in horror. The punter then tries to stagger over to the second hurdle, not to be put off by his failure on the first one, and sends himself flying. Security worker Fergus McWilliam, who was on hand to film the video, told the Daily Records, the day of the record rather, me and two of my colleagues had travelled from Edinburgh to Glasgow for a work event. We were getting a coffee and we spotted the street performer beginning his act. Out of nowhere, this is the bit that really made me laugh, right? Out of nowhere, this absolute character started limbering up.
Getting ready.
Started limbering up behind him, and the next minute, he chased the performer down the path. He seemed to walk away unscathed. We couldn't believe it. Fergus posted the clip on his Twitter with the caption, "People make Glasgow." They certainly do, Fergus. The video has been viewed 330,000 times and attracted plenty of comments. One viewer said, "Come on, that guy honestly thinks he's setting that up in Glasgow city centre and nothing's going to happen." Another said, "The noise at around 4 to 5 seconds where his head rattles off the top bar had me in tears." If you want to follow Liam Collins on Instagram, you can do. His handle is The Stunt Runner, all one word. Watch your spelling. And you can see him there at work in Glasgow setting things on fire. There's a picture of him standing. He's obviously talking to the crowd and probably explaining what he's about to do. There's an old guy standing behind him. It's not the guy, I don't think, that tried to do the stunts, but he looks like he's ready to like chase after him. He's just stood like he's ready to like shoot off. It's not known whether Liam's equipment was damaged. The day of the record did attempt to contact him for comment, but he hasn't responded. So yeah, I kind of feel that there's an element that you're sort of asking for it a wee bit. Unless you're playing music or something, I think you're asking for it.
I'm quite surprised you'd be allowed to set up flaming hoops in the middle of Glasgow. I mean, obviously, you can make your own Celtic jokes there, but I'm quite surprised that you'd be allowed to do that in the city centre, because then, of course, that just invites the people that are wanting to audition for JK's Got Talent, because they're obviously thinking that it's bad enough when you're there and you see the musicians and people are wanting to sing along, or geez a guitar, geez a tune, that's the type of thing you often see. If someone's trying to set up a magic act and trying to run through burning hoops, it's just asking for trouble.
For sure. I mean, the people that, and you get them everywhere. There used to be quite a famous one in Aberdeen. Like a girl used to do this in St Nicholas Square. It's the sort of human statue people, and and I've seen, I don't know how they manage it, but I've seen kind of good-natured standing beside them or pretending to do things to them, but nothing like disgusting or unpleasant, but maybe whatever. I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but I've also seen them getting like proper noised up, and they don't seem to they don't break character. They're like the Grenadier Guards that stand in front of Buckingham Palace that only attack people if they're not expecting it.
Yeah, because I guess you've got to have a certain balls of steel, I guess, to be able to do that, to go and set up, to paint yourself silver or gold and then stand in like in the middle of Buchanan Street just not moving for hours on end. You've definitely got to have a certain bit of composure or be centered to do that. So maybe you're able to put up with arseholes pretending to give you a blowjob or something.
Dry riding you from behind. It's like someone sent me a video today of two guys dressed up as, those dinosaur costumes that are going about at the minute, the sort of Tyrannosaurus Rex ones. Like two guys in Wales sort of dry humping a police car dressed up in these dinosaur costumes. With the caption, "Only in Wales." I was thinking, I mean, that's not only in Wales.
They won't be fucking laughing if the cops turn up.
I can see,
be deflating those costumes and shoving them in the back of the car. Dear. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that there's the street entertainment in Glasgow is taking a level up and it's encouraging audience participation as well. That's brilliant.
It's the sort of thing you would see like in Covent Garden in London, or on the Royal Mile in Edinburgh during the Edinburgh Festival, where I think it's probably about a safer environment, the Edinburgh Festival, I think, to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. You're not anticipating Rab to go run in his tracksuit.
No.
possibly set himself on fire.
Can you imagine if it was like a late 80s, early 90s shell suit? He'd be like Richard Pryor running down Buchanan Street. That's like what he'd done. Jumping through leaping through a flaming hoop.
Oh, I've just got memories now of the Ramsey Nesbitt City of Culture episodes.
Anyway, that's my first story this week. What are you starting us off with?
So my first story is from the Scottish Sun, and it's about a week and a half ago, so it's a bit of an older story now. The headline is, "You're nicked." 3 people have been arrested after a lamb was discovered in the back of a car with £10,000 worth of drugs. How? Police pulled over a car travelling along the M74 near Junction 3 in Glasgow on Saturday night. The motor was stopped on the northbound carriageway at around 6:10 p.m. Officers made the discovery after the police dog, Billy, indicated that drugs were allegedly present within the vehicle. Why are you laughing at the dog called Billy?
I don't know.
You think the dog handler was staunch? Do you?
Yes. Well, as a policeman, he probably was. But
as cops searched the car, they found a small lamb in the back seat next to a plastic bag and a bag of chips. Police then recovered heroin worth an estimated street value of £7,000 and cocaine worth an estimated street value of £3,000. A 38-year-old woman and 2 men, aged 52 and 53, have been charged with drug offences. A local farmer has now taken in the lamb, so it's been safely rehomed. However, officers have said that inquiries are ongoing to find out why the farm animal was in the car and how it ended up there. Posting about the incident on Twitter, Road Policing Scotland, who have obviously got a very good sense of humour, wrote, "Oh, you officers in Glasgow RP, stop this vehicle. It wasn't a Lamborghini." In addition to this wee fella, we got roughly 10 grand in Class A drugs with the assistance of a dog. They also credited Billy for making the discovery. They added, the lamb's been taken in by a local farmer and inquiries are now being established as to how it ended up in the car. So the 3 occupants of the vehicle have been arrested and Billy found that drugs were present there. So what I want to know is why there was a lamb in the back of the car with 10 grand of drugs and a bag of chips. And there's a photo of the lamb and he looks quite happy. He's happy enough.
Plus.
Yeah, the chips are in front of him. There's ketchup on the seats, unfortunately, so that's going to leave a bit of a stain. But I think that's the least of their worries, to be honest.
So do you think? I mean, in my mind, what's happened is that the people who have been arrested have perhaps been driving around under the influence, decided it would be a great laugh to steal a lamb, because it is the lambing season. March, April, it's spring. Spring has sprung in the UK. Stolen a lamb, thinking it's a great laugh. Had a debate about what lambs eat. Decided to stop and buy some chips and just automatically put a bit of ketchup on and stuck it in the back seat for the lamb. That's what I think's happened.
Yeah, it's natural thought, isn't it? What do lambs eat? Well, chips.
Chips.
Yeah, everyone eats chips.
Potatoes.
They don't eat meat, so fine, give it some chips. Do you want, no salt and vinegar, just a bit of ketchup though. Cause...
Yeah, don't put any salt in the chips. I don't have anything to put the water in for it.
Just glad it wasn't mint sauce they put on the chips. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to get water all over my back seats, not thinking for a minute that the lamb might start fiving ketchup around.
But yeah, there's a lot to be answered in that in this little tale. So I'd love to know if there's an update coming any time in the near future. But what a bizarre story. I bet that's not what the cops expected to find when they pulled over.
No, I wonder if it was a lamb that gave them away. I wonder if the police have been driving by, they've seen the lamb. You know the way that lambs kind of leap about, So this little lamb's head jumping up and down, and thought, what the fuck is that? Pull them over. Guy will be like that. Told you not to pick up that lamb. That's us huckled now.
It's their own fault because they were listening to No Vaseline, so the lamb couldn't help but jump about in the back seat.
Yeah. Hopping about to nothing but a G thing in the back of the lamb.
Just eating his chips. Right, come on, where are we going, boys? Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking get that Coke opened.
Yeah. Not until you've eaten your chips.
I can't believe you were laughing about Billy the dog.
It was just the way you said it. Billy. I just think to myself, what a good boy. I hope Billy got... Like, well, I mean, see, the thing is, right, I've been going through the airport before. I remember going through Gatwick, and they had all these police Springer Spaniels on, and I was thinking to myself, I really hope that, I mean, I didn't have anything to worry about. I wasn't, like, obviously carrying anything illegal, but I thought, I really hope that I just get picked for a random, like, sniff by the dog so I can get an excuse to give its head a pat, and make friends. Make friends with it.
Nah, but they're doing their job.
Yeah.
You can't,
it's like,
it's not like you'd go up to the police officer and ask to make friends with him, or her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's like guide dogs. Like I know that, and I before anybody writes in or phones the blind society, I never do it. But I'm always tempted to give guide dogs a wee scratch behind the ear when I see them. So I like the Labradors, but you're not supposed to because their guide dogs are always in duty. They're always protecting their owner from getting ran over or mugged or whatever they protect the. They don't protect the owner. Like they guide the owner. That's kind of the name guide dog.
Clues in the name, yeah.
Yeah, it's a guard dog.
You never know. I'm sure they do protect their owner. They do protect their owner from, not crossing the road on a green light or something. So you're right. I don't think they would savage a potential mugger.
BAM.
Perhaps
protect the owners from BAMs.
Yeah, and I mean, given their Labradors, like all the BAMs would need is really a tennis ball, and that would probably distract them. Exactly. Quite easy to do. Oh, never mind. Okay, so moving on from our lovely little lamb and our dog Billy, what else have you seen this week, Greg?
Well, my next story, perhaps unsurprisingly, once you hear the story, comes from the Scottish Sun on the 2nd of May. The strapline is, "Top that. I'm a mum and I always go braless. I feel empowered showing off my £60 piercings under tops. Bras are rubbish." I mean, I'm inclined to agree with this. Bras are rubbish. So this is, she's described as a hot mum. I'll let you decide whether she deserves that description. She's told how she hates wearing a bra because it hides her newly pierced boobs. This is Masha, 36. She forked out £60 to get the intimate new jewellery she'd always fancied having. £30 a corner, I guess. There's pictures of her saying how much she loves to go braless. And now she wants to give her 34E bust as much of an airing as possible so that everyone can appreciate her new look. Marsha said, "It works out at exactly £30 a nipple." You don't say, Masha. What a bargain. It's something I'd thought about for years, and I'm so glad that I've finally taken the plunge. Bras are rubbish. I hate being all stuffed in, especially now that I'm pierced. I want everybody to see them. For years, Marsha from, where do you think she's from, Nikki? Where do you think she's from? Have a guess.
Falkirk.
Marsha from Falkirk. She struggled to find a bra that would fit her boobs in without being too tight. Now she's more or less given up and heads out most of the time without a bra on. And her piercings have given her another reason to bin the restrictive underwear. She said, "Boobs put smiles on everyone's faces. They make everyone happy." Maybe not everyone. What's the point of having them crammed into something that makes you uncomfortable? Unsurprisingly, Marsha has got some strange looks when she's headed out to her local shop without a bra. But only to her local shop. But she's fine everywhere else she goes. She's received some comments on social media, but no one has ever said anything to her face. And she says that she's not bothered. She said, "I'm so happy with how I look now. I'm the most confident I've ever been. I don't care what anyone says about me, really. If I'm being honest, I love how I look and feel, and that's what's most important." After years of working for others, Marsha's now ditched her job to become a full-time content creator. Whatever the fuck that is. She added, "I absolutely love being my own boss and not wearing a bra. It's amazing." So there's old Marsha from Falkirk. So the Sun has put a poll in. Only 3 questions, Nikki. Let me know which one you would go for here. The question is, do you ever go braless? Your first choice is, yes, it's much more comfortable. Second choice is, no, I could never. Or the third choice is, only in my own home. So...
I'll go with. I mean, yeah, I go braless all the time. I suppose I don't wear a bra. I have no
much
need.
more comfortable, isn't it? Not wearing a bra.
It is indeed. So I can't believe you've lowered the tone on the day of our king's coronation with a story of some old tart from Falkirk that just goes about swinging her bats. And fair play to Marcia. If she's more comfortable and happy, and she's not offending anybody by doing this, is she? It's not like she's going out topless or anything. She wants
to show off her £30 a side piercings as well.
Yeah. So what is it, like big stars or something, or like is it like big Janet Jackson Super Bowl type nipple covers?
To be honest, I mean, from the pictures that were in the Sun, I can't really tell. Like. Perhaps there's a picture of her wearing a pair of motorcycling leathers, which she's got them pulled up to her hips, and she's wearing a vest top. And I've got to say, Nikki, it looks like she might be wearing a bra as well, because. I mean, let's see what you think. She's like, the vest top is grey. It looks like she's a bit sweaty as well. Like, honestly, I'm not. And I know this sounds like I'm being like mean to Marcia. I'm not. I'm just saying what I see. Like this, just doing catchphrase. I'm just saying what I see, right? The grey vest top has got thin straps that go over the shoulder, but she's clearly got some sort of white undergarment on, because the straps are wider than the straps of the grey vest top. You see it? Shall I send you it so you can have a look?
It's okay. I'll take your word for it, Gokwan. You just tell me. Sorry, I don't want to see Marcia's massive melons swinging
about. This is the irony, Nikki. You can't see it. You can't see any piercings or nipples. You can just see.
I see. Well, as long as she's happy and not offending anyone, that's all I can see. Yeah. And she's enjoying herself. Okay, yes, you've just sent me a photo of a very sweaty Marcia. I'm sure that's just the design, isn't it? Of the top. No, that's part of the strap, mate. It's a lacy strap with the grey. It's part of that top.
It's not.
It's not.
If you look.
Oh yeah. If you look at the other side, yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay.
Listen, mate.
I don't know.
I've seen a few ladies' undergarments in my time. You don't get to 44 without seeing a bra or two, and I'm telling you now, this is with some kind of undergarment under that vest.
Well, good luck, Marcia, and she's just had a good advert in the paper. People will be going on to Falkirk to have a look for Marcia and our nipple piercings. Did it have a link to her OnlyFans or something as well?
No.
Is this basically a promotional shoot for Marcia?
No, but she has just become a full-time content creator.
So yeah, she's on OnlyFans. Yeah.
So that's what that means. I always wondered. Anyway, that's my second story this week. What's your next story?
Are you familiar with ChatGPT at all?
Vaguely familiar, like some kind of AI thing, right?
Yeah, so it's an artificial intelligence system, which is Skynet, basically. It's going to fucking kill us all, you know that. But it launched last year, and it kind of generates like human-like conversations. So Aberdeen Live have asked it, how well does it know the Granite City of Aberdeen? And apologies, listeners, I know we had a couple of Aberdeen stories last week, but I just found this quite amusing. So this is from Aberdeen Live this week, and they've decided to put the powers of this ChatGPT to the test and asked it to name the top 10 things about Aberdeen. So this is what AI has effectively said is the top 10 things about Aberdeen. So I want to know if you agree with this, Greg, because obviously you lived in Aberdeen for a very long time, and so let's see if how good AI actually is. So the first thing, natural beauty. Aberdeen is known for its stunning coastline, sandy beaches, and scenic countryside, making it an ideal destination for outdoor enthusiasts and nature lovers. I'd go with that. Yeah, I think it's got that spot on. Yeah, Aberdeen it does. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, okay. That's one for
the AI,
ChatGPT. Second one is rich history. The city has a long and fascinating history, which is reflected in its numerous museums, galleries, and landmarks such as Marshall College, Provost Skeen's House, and the Maritime Museum.
Yeah.
It's got a rich history, I think so. The third thing Aberdeen has going for it is a vibrant culture. Aberdeen has a thriving arts and culture scene with numerous theatres, galleries and festivals throughout the year, including the Aberdeen International Youth Festival. Now, even Aberdeen Live agrees that this answer is slightly dubious because although arts and culture is kind of thriving, the Youth Festival was ditched in 2017 due to council funding. But the Jazz Festival and the International Comedy Festival still remain.
For now.
So the next one we have is Delicious Cuisine. The city is home to many award-winning restaurants, cafes and bars serving up anything from traditional Scottish fare to international cuisine.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It does. It's got quite a few
There's a few hidden gems in this sort of off the beaten track in Aberdeen, for sure.
Yeah. I think so. The next one we have is world-class universities. Aberdeen is home to 2 renowned universities, the University of Aberdeen and Robert Gordon University, which attracts students and scholars from all over the world.
It's your old alma mater, Robert Gordon's, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it certainly is. So yeah, I would say, it's 2 good universities in Aberdeen, so I think that's fair enough. Right, here we go. We're getting into the deep of it now. Vibrant nightlife. The city has a lively nightlife scene with plenty of bars, pubs and clubs to choose from, catering to all tastes and budgets. And Aberdeen Live have said here, the ChatGPT bot also enjoys a night out with Michael Gove, and they've included a photo of Michael Gove in Club Tropicana having a wee dance. Now, we don't know really about the vibrant nightlife because the last few times we've been in Aberdeen, we've been home in bed by 10 o'clock. But so we don't really know about that. However, is it a vibrant nightlife?
I mean, if you remember, we were there pre-COVID, and we were out on a Friday evening, and it felt like a Tuesday evening. Remember, we were in what's it called? Seoul at the top of the old church. And there was nobody about, and we were staying just off Holborn Street. We were in Seoul. Should have stayed there, but our mutual friend made us walk all the way to the other end of Union Street to go to Brewdog just so we could get fucking 20 pence off a pint of IPA or something. And we had to go all the way back up there again.
Oh, that's right. And then we went downstairs in Brewdog and we were the only people there.
That's right, yeah. The old
that was fucking...
The old Punana. The scene of many a good night out in the early 2000s and late 90s.
You might think he's exaggerating, listener, but no, he's right. Our mutual friend did drag us pretty much like a mile down the street just so he could get 20 pence off a beer, because it was probably his rhyme, so he probably saved 60 pence.
Well, he'd be well pleased with himself for that, 60 pence.
And then fucking dragged us there the next day because they do the best wings. You have to have the wings. You have to have the wings. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. So the next one on the list is, and another one I would disagree with, is shopping. Aberdeen has a range of shopping options, from independent boutiques like Kafka to high street stores and luxury brands, making it a popular shopping destination. Well, you can't get Chanel there now anymore, can you? Union Street may be beleaguered, but there are still many great shops to be found in Union Square, Aberdeen's shopping mecca. That's the words of Aberdeen Live, not AI. AI's not that fucking stupid to call it Aberdeen shopping's mecca. Jesus Christ. I disagree with shopping. It's a fucking desolate place.
Yeah.
Unless you're looking for second-hand clothes from a charity shop, or you like a bookmaker shop, then, and I don't mean a shop that makes books. I mean
bookies.
A bookies.
Or a vapery. There's a few vaperies up there.
Of course, a vapery.
Yeah, the only shop that's sort of endured that I still like is the Loft in the Academy shopping centre. Is it the Loft it's called, that sells like the Carhartt stuff and all that?
Oh, it's Attic.
Attic. Well, the same thing.
But then they've moved. They've moved to Union Street.
Oh, really? Oh, didn't realise that.
So next on the list we have sports and recreation. The city has a range of sports and recreation facilities, including golf courses, sports centres and swimming pools, catering to all levels of fitness and interests.
Council have shut all the swimming pools down.
Yeah. The leisure centre's shut as well.
Shut down. Barnacore's been shut for years.
All right. So ChatGPT, they started off well, but they're losing it here.
Yeah.
The second last one is festivals and events. Aberdeen hosts a variety of festival and events through the year, including that International Comedy Festival. Is that kind of goes with the earlier one? The Aberdeen Highland Games and the Aberdeen Christmas Village.
Aberdeen Highland Games?
Yeah, I mean, you do get Highland Games around about, but they're all little small ones, because you used to get Highland Games up at Hazelhead, but it was just basically like you'd get a Shire horse pulling a cart and you'd maybe get some fat lad throwing a hammer, but not like a proper hammer like you would get from like B&Q. And it wouldn't be like a toss and a caber. It would just be a big 2x4 like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Fat guy throwing a ball pin up his head.
And the last one on the list, Greg, what is one of the best things Aberdeen has going for it? Of course, the obvious answer.
The Dandy Dons.
No, it's friendly people. Aberdeen is known for its friendly and welcoming people, making it a great place to live or visit. And Aberdeen Live have said we couldn't agree more, because they have to, probably because it's Aberdeen Live. That's nonsense. Aberdeen's one of the most unfriendly cities. And I'm from there, I can say that. I've lived there for 27 years of my life, but Aberdeen's not a friendly and welcoming place. We don't like outsiders.
Well,
unless you got money.
Yeah, unless you come from Scandinavia. I was tagged on a Facebook post the other day because the Frankie and Benny's Aberdeen Beach is closing down after, I think it opened in 1996, so it's been there quite a long time. I worked in there for a good few years when I lived in Aberdeen. So people tagged me, and the people that I'm still in touch with that I knew from those days tagged me in the post to say, look, it's shutting down, blah, blah, blah. So I had a wee scroll through the comments that people had put under, because the article was on Fubar News, which I think is sort of local social media Aberdeen news Facebook group. And people were like, it's about time. It's gone downhill. It's been going downhill for years, right? So I thought, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. I ate in there last week. It was the worst meal of my life, right? And then somebody's put, everything's frozen, comes out of a microwave like every restaurant. So someone's commenting under every single restaurant, and he's gone, yeah, every restaurant these days, food's off frozen. Every single restaurant. The guy's like, you sure you mean every single restaurant? Oh my God, that's too much. So I had a wee click on their names to see if they were locals, and sure enough, they were all locals, just roasting Frankie and Benny's and evidently restaurants in general, you know. So yeah.
So I just wanted to include that. That is what AI thinks of Aberdeen. So I'll be honest, Greg, I don't think Skynet's going to be troubling us anytime soon.
Yeah, I think the AI should probably have sort of quit when it was ahead. It started well, as you said, and it seemed to be sort of kind of clutching its straws towards the end, you know.
It's like at school, you have to make a list of 10 things, and you're like, you get the first few, and then you're struggling, and you're like, fuck, what else can I put? I'll just put something that I know is not right, but it adds up to the top 10, so it's fine.
Yeah. So on the subject of Michael Gove, I didn't choose it as an article, but obviously we had him dancing at Club Tropicana a few episodes ago. I can't remember exactly which episode it was, like 3 or 4 episodes ago. Go and look back. They're all good. All the episodes are good. Go and look back. But apparently somebody asked him if he would ever consider appearing on Strictly Come Dancing, and he said that he would consider it. But basically, the whole story was based on somebody sort of regurgitating the Club Tropicana story and tying it to a spurious claim that Michael Gove said that he might go on Strictly if he was asked.
I don't think they would have him, would they? He's not famous enough, really, is he?
He's not popular. That's the problem, right? You know, he's not popular.
But they would have him on as like a joke act to
just make a cunt of him.
Yeah,
maybe.
Never mind. Have you seen anything else this week, Greg?
No, that's it.
The only other thing I saw was from last night. There was a big football match, Dundee against Queen's Park. Well, it was Queen's Park against Dundee, technically. And this is something you don't see ever nowadays, and I fucking loved this when I saw this in the paper. Like, it was a top of the table clash. Whoever won the game basically got promoted to the Scottish Premiership next season. Dundee ended up winning it 5-2, but it was a total sellout, and it's a small ground. They were actually playing, I think, in Ockleview, like Stenhousemuir's ground, because Queen's Park's ground doesn't got enough capacity. Right. So it was a total sellout, and this is something you don't see every day. I'm going to send you this photo now, which I know isn't great for podcasting, but it is something you would expect to see out of Urbally or the Bruins, and it's 2 old men on step ladders looking over the wall watching the football. And nobody like said anything or gave them into trouble. They didn't get, arrested or told off. Just let them do it. So 2 old men. These old men must be in their 60s, and they're standing at the top of step ladders on the top of this high wall watching the football. Good on them.
It's hilarious.
All right then, Greg. Well, I guess that rounds up the news for this week. So, before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, this is when I would normally say, let's have a little word from our sponsors, and we'd play an old advert. But Greg, we've got a proper, legitimate sponsor on the podcast today, and I'd like to talk to you about a brand that's very close to my heart, Doric Skateboards. Our new sponsor, Greg, Doric Skateboards, is a skateboard brand created by Gary Kemp, no relation to me at all, that aims to encourage people to get back on a board, whether they're young, old, good, bad, or in the middle. The main focus of Doric Skateboards is to explore the people and the culture of Aberdeen and the North East, and to create designs that reflect life in that area. Now, as you know, Greg, I have been a loyal customer of Doric Skateboards for quite a few years. You've seen me wearing their t-shirts.
I have.
I've shown you in my... I was in your house in one of my Doric Skateboards
indeed,
t-shirts, actually. Yeah, certainly was, yeah. I've got loads of t-shirts, sweatshirts. I live in my Donuts for Days Doric hoodie. So this isn't just a hollow cash grab sponsor. This is genuine, a brand that I am passionate about. So Doric Skateboards screen print all their own decks in their studio by Gary's fair hand, and they've produced some fucking incredible designs, including a Annie Lennox inspired board, a Robert the Bruce deck, and a Plenty of Pop deck inspired by the old Bonaccord trucks that used to drive around Aberdeen delivering fizzy juice. Do you remember those?
I do indeed,
Bonaccord trucks.
I do,
They used to sell Moray Cup, just like our logo. Doric Skateboards also replicate these amazing designs onto their clothing on 100% organic cotton tees, hoodies and sweatshirts, and you can also fill your boots on stickers, pin badges and beanies. Gary regularly collaborates with local artists to ensure that he brings the latest designs to the market, but also with a Doric twist. So I would say check out some of Gary's amazing limited edition designs. They are promoted on Instagram at Doric Skateboards, but you need to be quick because they will sell out fast, and believe me, I am gutted that I missed out on his buttery deck, but I'm hoping that this sponsorship may convince him to do a restock. So check out Doric Skateboards for yourself on doricskateboards.com and follow them on Instagram at Doric Skateboards, and we will put a link in the description of this episode to see their amazing designs. And that's not all, we are delighted to be able to offer you 15% off as listeners to this podcast. All you need to do is head to doricskateboards.com, have a look at the amazing decks, stickers, badges, hoodies and tees that they have on offer, and enter the promo code SWALLY. That's right, SWALLY, same as the name of this podcast, Swally, to get your 15% off. That's doricskateboards.com.
Nice. Okay, and we can put it in the description and on the socials as well, so you don't have to remember it. You can just check the description of the podcast.
Okay, Greg, so it was your choice on the podcast this week, so why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
So I went for the BBC's 2011 drama murder mystery series set in 1980s Glasgow, The Field of Blood. It's based on the novels by the author Denise Mina about her protagonist, trainee reporter / journalist Patricia, otherwise known as Paddy Meehan. The show, we're talking about the first series today, which went out in May 2011. It stars Jade Johnson of River City fame as Paddy Meehan, Matt Costello, a Swally favourite, Irish actress Brona Gallagher, Ford Kieran, famously of Chewing the Fat and Still Game, David Morrissey, Peter Capaldi, Stephen McCole, and Brian Pettifer, absolute Swally tally breaker of a cast. There's another, so the first series is called The Field of Blood. The second series is also called The Field of Blood, but this first series is based on Denise Mina's first novel, The Field of Blood. We may well do the second series, which came out a couple of years later, in a future episode of the Swally. So the last episodes when I was teeing you up to tell you what I was picking for this episode, you were not familiar with The Field of Blood. You watched it now, I hope. What did you think?
No, I couldn't be arsed. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I'll just let you speak about it. As soon as I googled it, I was aware of I've seen that the cover before of Jade Johnson with David Morrissey and Peter Capaldi behind her. As we said, this came out in like 2011. I was living in Dubai, and I didn't have as easy access to UK TV as I did latterly and as I do now. So this really did kind of pass me by. And I'm quite gutted that it did. I didn't even realise the huge amount of cast that was in this, as you've just illustrated and said. The sheer volume of big Swally hitters that are in this is incredible. So first time watching it, and first time I kind of went in not really knowing much about it and not knowing what the kind of premise or story was. So all I could say is, can we make this quick so I can head off and watch series 2? Because I only watched series 1 to cover for the podcast. Yeah, I really, really enjoy this. It's right up my street. Yeah. In terms of, I mean, it joins kind of a long list of crime adaptations and stuff that you do get a lot of in Scotland. You know, much like The Advocates that we did last week. It's kind of, the police aren't the main focus. It's something else. And I almost prefer that when it's not the police, when it's like a journalist or a lawyer, or you're doing a bit of investigating, because they can kind of break the rules and go outside the law, like planting evidence or something. You know, it's something that makes it a little bit different. And I thought it was a really nice touch having the main protagonist be a teenage girl, in terms of, I mean, she's teenage, or is she, we'd like to believe she's maybe like, I mean, she'd be 20 at the very oldest.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought she was about 18, 19.
Yeah,
maybe.
me too. I put her about the 18, 19-year-old mark too, yeah.
And I know that's obviously from the book, but it's just nice to have that as the basis and not have like a fucking, 50-year-old divorced, grizzled veteran with a drinking problem, well, if effectively for Kieran's character. That's like the main thing. I really enjoyed watching this, though. Really did. It's rare that you find something that let's be honest, the subject matter of this is so serious in terms of it's a child that's abducted and murdered.
It's dark, isn't it?
But it's at least 3-4 occasions I was in tears laughing, because it's just littered with just these beautiful one-liners or just bits of hilarity. It's genius in terms of the way it's done. It really is.
Yeah, it's very good. The story, for listeners, and we are going to spoil it. If you want to watch the series, it's available to buy on iTunes. If you want to obtain it legally, I think you can get it on Amazon in the UK as well. I bought it off Apple rather than download it illegally. But it tells a story of Paddy Meehan, young reporter. Well, she's the copy boy at the Glasgow Daily News, fictional newspaper. She's got aspirations to become a journalist. She comes from quite a devout Roman Catholic family. All this is against the backdrop of a child, like a little boy who goes missing, and Paddy's able to sort of connect what's happened to this little boy to a historical similar case that's happened in Glasgow a few years earlier. Well, I guess we're going to spoil it. It's all muddled by the fact that her younger cousin who's only a little boy, has been arrested for the crime, and she sets out to unravel the mystery and get to the bottom of it, and hopefully clear her little cousin's name. But yeah, I mean, it's that sort of juxtaposition between an incredibly dark kind of murder mystery, and if you think about, it's difficult to sort of not draw a little bit of comparison to like the Jamie Bulger case in the UK, which happened like in 1992 or 3, which is almost 20 years earlier. So it surprised me that I thought it was, still a very sensitive issue with the details of what happened to that wee boy, and there's some commonality here. But then, so you got this very dark, serious story, and then you've just got this absolute gallows Scottish humour sort of permeating through it, especially among the kind of middle-aged men who work on the newspaper, like Ford Kieran's character, not to a lesser extent Peter Capaldi's character. He's, the whole first episode, he doesn't do anything, Peter Capaldi's, he's like an extra. No. He's basically an extra, but he more than makes up for it in the second episode. And Jonas Armstrong, of course, David Morrissey, and the other guys in there. But yeah, I mean, it's gallows humour, but never at the expense of the seriousness of what's happened. It's more at the expense of each other. You know?
Oh yeah, there's nothing, and that's what I'm saying. I love it, and exactly as you said, it's what I'd written down in my notes. So this is just reminds me of the Jamie Bulger case, and it's such a serious and it's one thing. You know, if you're, how am I going to say this without sounding odd or off or offending anyone? But I mean, I'll just say it because we obviously say stuff on the Swally all the time. It's one thing if you're depicting like murdering men or like rent boys or prostitutes or something. Not that I'm saying that's okay, but when it's a child, it seems to add something more to it. It's very grim and serious.
It's very evocative, I think, when it's a child, you know?
And as you say, to have just this, and they deal with it very well in terms of the seriousness of it. And exactly as you said, at no point is there any laughter about the crime that's been committed. They're all kind of like, you know, poor bastards. They're all out to get whoever's done this. Yeah. But as you say, to be able to mix that with a level of humour that you have coming out of, and she said it's not just Fort Kieran, you know, Brian Pettifer is great. As you say, Capaldi has some huge laugh out loud lines as well. Just it's more his delivery. And exactly as you said, in episode 1, I think he's got one line, isn't he? He says, "Leave her alone."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then the only other time you see him is when he gives her a little kind of smile and nod after she's just committed a little bit of active violence. We'll talk about later on. But yeah, to be able to do that is great. The way they've mixed this together, and what I loved about this as well is the way it was shot. In terms of, it's not a cliched kind of, because it's set in 1982, but it's not like a kind of cliched, and I'm looking at kind of Life on Mars, ashes to ashes type thing. It's not like get in the Quattro. Let's, you know, smoke a Woodbine and drink a Kestrel type thing. It just feels natural. And genuinely, watching some of the scenes like in the pub, I could fucking smell the smoke and the whiskey, and it just felt so raw. And like it's almost like I was sat there in the pub with them. Just it was just so beautifully done, and the way it was shot. I really thought that was a lovely kind of touch. However they did that. I mean, it was almost hard to concentrate in the first kind of 15 minutes or so, because okay, you have the initial opening of young Brian going missing, but then you're just dazzled by, it seems, every person that pops up. You see Jade, and I was kind of like, oh, she's from River City, and Jade, and then you're like, oh, it's Stephen McCole, oh, it's Kevin Guthrie, oh, it's Matt Costello, oh, it's David Morrissey, oh, it's Fort Kieran, oh, it's Brian Pettifer, like, oh, it's fucking Robin Hood, oh, it's okay. It's Doctor Who. It's every fucking second. Oh, it's Bobby the Barman. Like every second you're watching, it's just an incredible cast that they've managed to put together for this.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. And I was looking at the time it came out. I think Still Game was on hiatus when about that time. Capaldi was just about to do Doctor Who. I think the thick of it had wrapped up a couple, maybe 2 or 3 years earlier. So I think it was like the year before Capaldi went to Doctor Who. Obviously, David Morrissey, I think, was maybe just finished his run in The Walking Dead, or just about to do it, maybe.
I think he would have been just about to do it in 2011. Yeah.
But yeah, this sort of just found this sweet spot where they've been able to get all these actors together, you know, for this like brilliant ensemble. And what surprises me to talk about Jade Johnson. So I never really watched River City, but I seem to recall when this was on, there being a lot of they made a big deal of the fact that she'd come from River City to essentially lead. She's essentially the lead role in this drama, and she won a BAFTA for, and she's not done anything else. She's got 4 credits, 4 credits in her IMDb. She's got River City, 4 episodes of The Field of Blood, and a film called Frankie something, I can't remember, something like that. It's with Gerard Butler, I think, but she's only about 9 in that film or something. Right.
Like she's 14 or something. She's very young in that film.
Okay.
She just gave up. She lives in Canada now.
Right.
Gave up. Went to Canada and lives there and lives quite a happy life. Just gave up acting, and good for her. Scottish BAFTA, yes, she did win. She beat the other 2 nominees, because at that time it was Best Actor or Actress in a production. Right. There obviously weren't a lot of Scottish productions that year, because the 3 nominees were Ford Kieran, Peter Capaldi and Jade Johnson. But nevertheless, she still won, Scottish BAFTA. She's brilliant in this. Like, absolutely brilliant. Why waste that talent and giving up acting? But I guess she's happy. Yeah. She is fantastic, and I love the character of Paddy. She just gives no shits. She's just fucking fights for what she wants. She's determined. She knows she wants to be a journalist. Yeah. She's just doesn't take no for an answer at some points, and she's conniving, but she makes quite early on, she's blackmailing McVeigh, and she's doing things she's told not to do. She's standing up to the editor of the newspaper, and she's just a brilliant, well-rounded character. I absolutely loved her.
Yeah, she's a real sort of heroine, and she's sharper than almost everybody else in the office. You know what I mean? Like, she's up against Hannah. Is it Hannah? The other Heather. Sorry, Heather. So it's Heather. She's up against McVeigh, played by Ford Kieran. David Morrissey, his character is formidable, and very much from the era that I heard coined in the rewatchables this week, the pre-2 era, as opposed to the Me Too era. He's very pointed and sexist toward her and stuff, but he's sort of kind of rough exterior, heart of gold, because he does see her potential. But she's well read. She's on the ball a lot more than any of her colleagues are, and yet she's on the very bottom rung of the ladder at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, but she's just a fat lass that makes the coffee, and that was one of the main gripes I had about this. And I haven't read the book, but I did read that in the book, Paddy is described as very fat and ugly,
right?
And that's why there are so many fat jokes, and why she's constantly on a diet and eating all these boiled eggs.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, could you not have changed that? Because Jay Johnson isn't fat at all.
No,
like, not in the slightest. I was quite confused when they kept calling her fat, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I would have just changed that slightly, like called her something else. I don't know what would have been appropriate in 82, like, the way she dresses or something, called her a hippie or something like that. There was no need for that, but never mind it. Obviously it was from the source material, so I guess they felt that they had to go through with that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant character. Just kind of fell in love with her, and just the determination that she has. And as you say, Jay Johnson, now this fucking depressed me when she won the BAFTA, and she had an interview, and they asked her about doing Field of Blood. And she said, it was so much fun, especially because I wasn't even born in the 1980s. I love a period drama. It's my favourite type of acting. How depressing is it that a fucking 80s is now described as a period drama? For me, a period drama is fucking, a bodice-ripping Bridgerton or Pride and Prejudice. It's not fucking 1980s Glasgow. That's not a period drama. Like, that really upset and depressed me when I read that, and made me feel very old.
Yeah, I mean, what I thought they did quite well as well, because obviously it has to feel like 1980s Glasgow, and I've said in the Swally a few times, the Glasgow, especially the city centre, that I remember as a wee boy when about this time. I mean, it's gone, compared to what Glasgow is like now. But all the outdoor scenes, they're all sort of shot in really sort of nondescript locations. When she's walking to work, she's obviously walking, to me it looks like an alley in the city centre or something that they're using for the set that she's walking along. I mean, and there's nothing that's going to give away the fact that they're shooting it in 2011 in an alley in Glasgow city centre. The park, I think, at the beginning where the wee boy goes missing, it's just a fairly standard swing park, and they're all quite close shots of the actors and stuff. There's no wide shots in this at all. You know what I mean?
No.
They're all pretty close to the actors and actresses, and I think they've succeeded in really making it feel like Glasgow in the 1980s. They've got thrown in a few old cars, a few old like Opals and Ford Cortinas and things like that, Maxis and stuff, and they've really succeeded in making it feel really authentic, I thought.
Yeah, and it was the little touches. You're right, exactly as you've said. There's no big kind of sweeping shots of the city or anything outdoors. It is very close, like in the streets. They're either in like a tenement tenement building.
Yeah.
Or, the widest kind of thing you really see is maybe when you see Naismith's van, the grocer's van, parked on the street, and she runs across the street. But because your focus is on this very 1970s kind of grocer van, you're not looking at the surrounding area to see like, I can see a I don't know, Franz Ferdinand sticker in the window up there or something. You're not looking for anything like that, so you're not paying attention. Your focus is in that van. And you're right, they did a really good thing. One thing I thought, when they're out in the call car and they pass the Barrowlands, and of course it's all lit up. I mean, that was, in 1982, it was lit up like that.
It was like that 1962, mate, I think. It's always been
that's what I was thinking. Yeah. And then they stopped for chips and cheese. That was a thing in 1982 as well, was it? I always thought that was kind of a later thing, but I don't know.
Never heard of that until I was a student.
Well, that was what I was thinking, so I don't know, but I guess it must have been 92. But they did a very good job. I mean, little things like the macaroon bars that he takes out of his cabinet is very much the retro, and of course even down to when they're in the pub, you've the half pint glasses and the ashtrays and the beer mats. It's all just beautiful kind of retro 80s. You can just feel.
I love that sort of copper brushed tabletop that she sits at with Dr. Pete in the second episode when he tells her how he's got cancer, and it reminded me of the first pub that I ever worked in. The pub, the tables were not dissimilar.
It was just beautiful. Yeah, a lot of attention to detail that they've gone in on this that really made it good. I mean, Jay Johnson and Paddy is fantastic. I mean, where do you want to go next in terms of, do we go family or do we go to our work in terms of speaking about the cast?
Do we go to her near miss with Kevin Guthrie? Fucking get out of there just in time.
She certainly did, yes. She certainly did.
Kevin Guthrie with his Beatles haircut. No, I think...
we've said on the Swally before, obviously, we separate Guthrie's performances from his crimes.
Yeah.
So I think we both agreed he was fucking shite in Sunshine on Leith. I think the one thing we've covered him in that we both agreed he was phenomenal in was Get Duped.
Yeah, he was good at that.
Fantastic in that. In this, he's not that great. And I'm not just saying that because he is a convicted sex offender. I'm saying that because he's not that great.
No.
And he's got a shite haircut. And
Yeah. No, I think if we start with Jade's family, so Matt Costello, never changes. Exactly the same as he's always looked. And the atmosphere in the house, it's clear that, Jade's mum, played by Brona Gallagher, is, I guess we're supposed to believe that she's from Northern Ireland, and she's moved over to Glasgow at some point and met Jade's dad and stuff. They don't approve of Jade, it feels like. They're very devoutly Roman Catholic. They've got the cross at the front door. Jade's crossing herself when she comes home every day because she's expected to do that, and her mum doesn't approve of the fact that I think that her daughter's off just pursuing this passion of being a journalist. It starts off, the first shot is of Jade's recently deceased granny lying in states in the living room in her coffin. Right easy gig for that actress. You know what I mean? They're having a little kind of pre-funeral tea, and she has to rush off, and it sort of sets the tone for the way that her mum is immediately critical of how she's dressed for the wake, because she's got, she said, well, it's the only black jacket I've got, and she's got the younger sister that she has to share a bed with, which I think was just kind of part and parcel back in those days.
It's part of the course.
It's one of those. But she's also got like an older sister who we only really see once, who comes in to give her a hard time when she thinks that she's told the newspaper about her cousin.
We see her in the kitchen a couple of times, just in the background as Paddy's, coming in. I think at the end, but
she feels quite pariah, I think, from her family, but she doesn't feel that she doesn't feel that she kind of belongs. We find out later on when she's talking to Dr. Pete how she doesn't actually believe in God. So all the times that we've seen her come home and cross herself, she's just doing it out of routine and keep her mum and her family placated and stuff.
I did like the relationship in terms of with her family, because obviously the mum, Brona Gallagher, of course, most famously. I mean, I know Brona Gallagher from a lot of things because she's instantly recognisable. And it wasn't until I was looking her up and I was like, holy fuck, I never realised she was Trudy from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I struggled a little bit with the relationship between her and Paddy.
Yeah.
And it's not because it wasn't believable, but I don't know, I didn't understand it or really get it. I mean, I can tell she doesn't approve of maybe what she's doing, and she believes she maybe should be there for her family, but as her dad says to her, you know, she's a hard woman,
yeah,
mum, in terms of. Whereas, and as you've said, with her sisters, the only really relationship is, I did laugh at the line when her sister was like, can you please not eat that egg? Like, please no more eggs, because I've got to share a bed with you. And instantly like, oh, okay. However, I absolutely loved the relationship she has with Matt Costello, her dad. Yeah. And you can tell there's a genuine connection there. And she's not a daddy's girl, but you know what I mean? There's a little bond there, but then her dad's always going to take the mum's side. Yeah. Which I'm like, that's a bit of a shame, because she's always going to feel a little bit left. And, you know, when he comes down and has his glass of milk in the kitchen with her and speaks to her, you know, he's quite open and honest. Like, well, you know your mum likes to rally round the troops when in terms of a crisis. You feel for him, because he's fucking damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. But he is wanting to check up on his little girl. Yeah. And check she's okay. But I really like that relationship, and I would like to see more of it. And I hope they explore that maybe in the second series a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, the fact that this whole sort of story unfolds in the space of like 2 hours, you know, so we get all this character building, we get this whole story of the abducted and murdered wee boy and everything, all in the space of 2 hour long episodes, you know, whereas, you know, like it would, some like American dramas would string that out over 12 episodes with a flashback episode and all sorts. And I thought, I don't like flashback.
It's like, am I looking at you, The Last of Us?
Yeah. I look at you, The Last of Us. I'm looking at you, pretty much every fucking drama that comes out of America over the last 5 years. But, you know, I think, because I did think myself, well, I wonder if there'll be a wee bit of resolution as far as her and her mum's relationship goes by the end of it. You know what I mean? Just to sort of tie everything up. And there isn't. And like I thought, well, maybe that's a bit more authentic, because, you know, it's worked out well for Paddy professionally. You know, she's taken a bit of a risk. She's planted evidence in Naismith's car to get him in trouble. It's almost blown up in her face, but Dr. Pete's taking the blame for her. She gets told at the end that she's getting bumped up to junior reporter, something like that. And so the professional side of her life's all worked out well, but she's also managed to get her cousin off the hook. And maybe it's probably a bit unrealistic to expect that she would just go home and her mum would be like, listen, sorry, I've been such an arsehole towards you over the last couple of days just because of X, Y, or Z. I mean, I think I have seen some of the second series of it when it was on the TV, so I can remember wee bits that I thought were in this one that we just watched that weren't. So I don't think I'd seen this one before, but I think I did see bits and bobs of the second series. But I can't remember, if I'm being brutally honest, if her mum and dad are around in that one or not. But yeah, it's Brona Gallagher is she's a hard woman in this.
Very hard woman, without a doubt. And then I guess our last family member is her cousin. Danny, played by Stephen McCole. Yeah,
he's brilliant. I know he's not in it that much, but the scene in the cell with him and Jay Johnson and the wee boy. And the wee boy, by the way, is fucking brilliant as well.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, he must be 11, 12 years old. The actor at the time must have been that age. He's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Stephen McCole he's fucking like knocking out the park in that scene. Absolutely brilliant.
And I was quite surprised they went that far. I had to rewind it a couple of times to hear what the little boy said when he's in the cell. When he says what the Mr. Naismith with the earring said he would do to him if he didn't kill Brian. And I'm not going to repeat it here, but it's fucking brutal.
Oh, horrendous.
That's what leads Steve McCole to go crazy. The emotion he goes through, you're really believing that, like, fucking hell. Yeah. And I was so surprised they went that far to have the little boy say that. I don't know, because it kind of cuts away. You don't really see him mouth it, so maybe it was overdubbed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, fucking horrific.
I'll kill him. I'll kill him.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, McCole just is... we've spoken about him so much in the podcast, but the range, he's so nice when you first sees Paddy, at the funeral, lovely. And then the next time you see him, he's spitting in her face.
Yeah.
And you really believe that. But then he spits in her face, and then it's almost like he immediately regrets it because he turns around. He's like, he doesn't stay here on a Sunday.
Yeah.
He's with his mum.
Yeah.
So he wasn't here. And he's trying to justify it. But Paddy's trying to say, like, I know he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. I know he didn't. But obviously they feel betrayed because, of course, Heather has taken her story and printed it in the paper for herself.
Yeah. She and maybe that takes us on to Heather, played by Alana Hood. The character of Heather does not have a lot of luck in this.
No,
so
she does not.
She gets a bucket of piss poured over her, which is a bit of a nitpick. I mean, that wee boy's mum wasn't away long enough to fucking fill up a bucket of piss like that.
That's one query I had. Like, did she have that bucket ready?
Yeah.
She couldn't have because it was steaming off of her. So it was fresh piss. You're right. She would have had enough to fill up maybe a little bucket, but it was a lot of piss she threw over her.
Yeah. Unless she ran round the coast really quickly, get all the neighbours to piss in it.
But then, as McVeigh says, like, she is lucky. She might have needed a shite. So I think
It's piss! I'm covered in piss!
Near lucky.
There was absolutely no need for that. I mean, absolutely no need.
Oh, you better get used to it. It's part and parcel. Look at it as a sort of baptism. Anyway, you were lucky. She might have needed a shite.
I think I'm going to be sick.
Anyway, you're right. A lot of toilet humour involving Heather. Sorry, you were saying. So she had a bucket of piss thrown over her.
Yeah, so she gets drenched in piss. She gets bog washed by Paddy in the office, and like nobody intervenes in this this male dominated office. They'll just watch and listen outside the door while Paddy flushes poor old Heather's head in the toilet, and then to top it all off, she gets done in at the end of the first episode. Her head gets caved in the car park by a masked assailant, which leads to a really strange choice by the director. So it cuts out just before you see the bat falls on Hannah's head. Cuts to black. The credits start to roll, and then a picture of Hannah's head in a pool of blood that we have to look at for the whole time while the credits roll.
It really disturbed me because I was really shocked because I knew something was going to happen when Heather was in the car park. I'm like, what's happening here? But it happened so quickly with the plastic bag and then the tape, and you're like, holy fuck. And then when she's scrabbling and then just all of a sudden the baseball bat, I'm like, holy fuck, she's a goner. And you're right. After you're like, oh my God, I was still sitting there mouth agape, and then just this still image comes up with the plastic bag kind of ripped open, pool of blood, and I'm like, oh, she is a goner. She's definitely dead. Strong choice and a very strange choice, but it kind of worked. It was really effective. That's an image that will live with me for a while, seeing Heather just with the blood seeping out with the plastic bag mixed in.
Well, you're definitely going to tune in the week after, aren't you, when you see something like that happen?
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's very true. That is very true. You are going to win. But you're right, she doesn't have any luck, but she kind of brings it upon herself. She's the one that has to go to the door. Paddy wants to go, but then, in fact, I think it is McVeigh that says, no, you look like a reporter.
Yeah.
So he does send Heather. But then, she fucks Heather over.
Yeah.
Heather confides in her. She thinks she's a friend. She confides in her that it's her cousin's wee boy that's been, is the 10-year-old boy arrested for the murder. And she prints the story and takes the credit for it. So when Paddy comes in and grabs Heather and quite easily fucking maneuvers her into the toilet, I was like fully like cheered up, like, come on, Paddy, come on. And I burst out laughing when she just fucking puts her head down the toilet and starts pushing it. It's like, go on.
Well, you sort of empathise with... You sort of empathise with Paddy because her first sort of introduction to Heather, she's sort of generously inviting Paddy to go along in the in the call car with her. There's a bit of she's got a bit of an ulterior motive, and that's because McVeigh has got a reputation for being a bit of a lech, so she doesn't want to be in the car with them herself, so there's a bit of an ulterior motive, but it does sort of feel like it's out of goodness as well. So that you can understand why Paddy is so sort of outraged and upset about the fact that, she's thought she's made a friend, to your point, and she's just absolutely stitched her up to get her name on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah, no, I can completely see she's upset with it, and that's why just the anger comes out, because her family are obviously not speaking to her and upset. So for her to, just fucking, she said, bog wash her head is hilarious, and it just gives no shits about it.
Yeah.
It's what she's done. It's brilliant.
And then the next, I guess the next one in the office we mentioned before is McVeigh, played by Ford Kieran, who now I think he in the second series he plays more of a role. I think if my memory serves, I think we see a lot more of him in the second series. But he's I think Ford Kieran is a good dramatic actor. I know that he's sort of made his money. Yeah. He's made his fame doing comedy, but still Game has a lot of, as much as it's often very, very funny, it also has a lot of quite sort of sentimental and dramatic moments with him, particularly. Well, with both him and Greg Hemphill, but with him, and I don't know that he's ever really been given his shot at doing a lot of drama, because he's great in this. And there's not even, sometimes you see actors who are better known for comedy doing a serious role, and they can't quite resist just doing something a wee bit more in their wheelhouse in the performance. Maybe a little moment, a little expression, a little nuance, or whatever. But I didn't see that in him. Even when you said it before, when he's roasting Heather after she gets covered in piss. He's not sort of mugging or making it like a big the punch line of a comedy sketch or something like that. It's just sort of banter, or just unwelcome humour, since he's the only person who laughs at it and stuff, apart from us, of course. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's difficult. First of all, I agree. I think he's tremendous in this. And I agree, he's a very good serious actor. I wonder the character isn't 100% serious, because he does have these one-liners, but he is meant to be that kind of joker,
cynic.
But he does have quite a few moments when he is on a serious kind of tone. I think he's obviously known as a bit of an alky, because the Devlin does tell Paddy to keep an eye on him if he's drinking. And he's obviously known as a lech, because it's the first thing he says, keep your hands on your chuff if you're going out on the call car. But it doesn't seem that way, really. He seems like a reporter that is trying to get a story. And, when he goes into the police station, he's speaking quite open and honestly with the desk sergeant, and when he sees Paddy's there and he gets a sniff of the story, but he gives her... He's true to his word. He does give her credit. I know she kind of blackmails him and says, I'll tell McVeigh, I'll tell Devlin about the half bottle in your glove compartment. But he's true to his word. He does. He could have fucked her over and said, she's speaking shit. And I did like the relationship they have, kind of the bit of banter back and forth. And I loved it at the end. When the two of them are at the bar, and he does say, I hate to admit it, but you are funny. I really like that kind of resolution, and I think McVeigh, to be painted out to be this bit of a kind of alky lech, he's actually a decent character. I really liked him, and was quite happy when he was on screen. But again, a great performance, as you say, from Ford Kieran. I don't think he has done much dramatic acting, apart from maybe is he the security guard that gets killed in the debt collector? The janitor in the swimming pool. But other than that, it's pretty much all comedy stuff. Oh, he's got a role in Carla's song, which I wouldn't imagine to be a comedic role.
No, that's on with Robert Carlyle, isn't it? I don't think so. I mean, he's got a blink and you'll miss it appearance in Gangs of New York, Martin Scorsese's movie, where he plays a fireman, and he's literally on the screen. He's got a massive sort of Pabroon moustache and beard, and you only see him for literally a second on the screen.
But he's fantastic. really, really enjoyed seeing him in this, and it was just a pleasure to kind of, whenever he popped up, and you knew you were probably going to get a good one-liner about, what was it, our legs were so long I needed a pilot's license to get our knickers off.
Was he the one that says, make sure he gets off at Paisley Gilmore Street, you don't want any little paddies running about, which I thought was a fucking hilarious line. So the last stop before Glasgow, meaning pull out before he shoots his load, you know. Make sure he gets off at Paisley Gilmore Street. Oh, that was funny. And then I guess next one then is probably Peter Capaldi, who, as we mentioned before, doesn't really do anything really in the first episode, and then the second episode he's fucking astounding in the second episode. Capaldi, it's so good.
Yeah, I did wonder, exactly as we've said, the first episode, what was it? Like, it's one line, leave it alone, and then you just see this nod, and then it's almost like he was busy for the filming of the first episode, and then turned up, because he's in a lot of the second, in the first scene, when he's shaking, he said, I just need a drink. Yeah. I don't need tea and sympathy. To Paddy, but immediately, I mean, of course, we got the kind of leave it alone and the wink and the nod in the first episode. You know, he likes Paddy, and he obviously sees something in her, and that's the best relationship between the two of them in the show. They're just a wonderful. I wish, spoiler alert, Dr. Pete dies at the end. He does, yeah. I would love to have seen more of that dynamic together, like him almost tutoring her and leading her on. But the way, obviously, he's got cancer and he's dying, so he just wants to sit in the pub and get pissed. And die. And but he remembers everything, and he gives her a lot of good advice in terms of the case, and obviously it takes the blame for planting the evidence towards the end.
He's got some great one-liners as well. Like, my favourite line of his is when he and Paddy are discussing their shared atheism, and how he talks about how he argued with his father his whole life, and she mentions about how her family are meek, and he says, "Oh, the meek playing the long game, sneaky bastards." It made me laugh.
Just he's a wonderful character, though, who ends up, I say, taking the blame for Paddy planting evidence so she can have her career. Because that's a beautiful thing, because when he does, she confesses to him, and she says, "I'm never going to report her now," and he's like, "No, it's a shame. I would like to have seen what you would have done," or something along those lines. And for him to then take the blame, and the beautiful scene of him in the cop car just kind of nodding at her as Derek Riddle, who, when we've mentioned, is asking her about if she knows anything about it. Just beautiful. Great performance from Capaldi, and just absolute powerhouse, and I just really felt when he passes away in the pub, that's where he would have wanted to go, but it was heartbreaking as well. And of course, you felt it for Paddy, when she's like, he's not sleeping. He's not sleeping. You really feel kind of heartbroken, like, oh, fuck, he is dead.
Although I did like the fact that he's in the pub in his pyjamas and dressing gown. So he's been in the hospital. He's like, fuck this, off to the pub. So there's a scene that brought back some memories for me, not memories of 1982 Glasgow, but just memories of being of kind of pre-internet, and that's the scene when I can't remember the character's name. We'll just call him Robin Hood, Joan Armstrong's character, and Terry and Paddy are going through the telephone directory, the phone book, not the yellow pages, but the book that if you wanted to find your mate's phone number and you knew his dad's first name, you could spell his second name correctly. You could, and they hadn't gone X directory. You could find them in the book.
Or if you just wanted to look up like a funny name, and give them a call. Are you Mr. T. Itz or something along those lines?
Lots of M Hunts. I'm sure when I got phone calls. Is that Mark? No, Mike.
Yeah, right. Very retro. In terms of going through the phone book. I mean, Jonas Armstrong as Terry. I can see the point of the character. Obviously, maybe add a bit of eye candy, because otherwise you've just got Ford Kieran and Peter Capaldi and Brian Pettifer to look at. So you need, and Matt Costello. No offence to any of those guys, but I guess you needed a handsome gentleman in there. And I guess he needed to be Paddy did kind of need a sidekick for the second episode when she's investigating, because McVeigh's probably not going to go along with her theory.
Yeah.
Dr. Pete's not fit enough to go along with her theory. So you did kind of need him there.
I think having somebody closer in age to her, because he's clearly, after Paddy, he's clearly the next youngest person working in the office. You know, so it would make sense that they would find some kind of bond.
Did we need them to have sex? Though? I could have done without that, to be honest. I didn't think we needed that. Just keep it as a buddy relationship. I didn't think that we needed that. But then maybe that was an impetus for Paddy changing, because it was her first time, and maybe she feels more like a woman and grown up, and that's why she doesn't cross herself, kind of, you know, when she comes into the house at the end of the second episode. I don't know. I felt a bit clunky in a way.
I think it was there for the reasons you just said. You know, it sort of represents a change in her. I mean, but what I would say is it's the most unerotic sex scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, she looks sort of inconvenienced, I would say, through it all. It's probably the best way. You know, it's very much missionary over his shoulder. The fact that she had to tell him well after the fact that it was her first time, I kind of feel they might have noticed that himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. His bed would have been a mess, a right old mess.
Well, he comes in the morning and says, I'm going to need to get some WD-40 for that bed because it was creaking so much. And I'm like, I think you need to get some Vanish for your sheets, probably.
Get those sheets in the wall.
Terry, to be quite honest. I don't know. I haven't seen Jonas Armstrong in a lot, because I didn't really watch Robin Hood. He's fine. He's passable. He's okay. He's probably the weakest character in the show.
But look who he's up against, though, innit? Do you know what I mean? He's up against some absolute heavyweights.
That's the thing. I'm not saying anything against him, because obviously he's good enough. He's passable. But I could have done without seeing him on screen. I wanted to see more Kieran. I wanted to see more Capaldi. I wanted to see more Pettifer. I want to see more Morrissey, rather than Armstrong. But he was fine enough. And I guess we've spoken a little bit about David Morrissey as Devlin. I can confirm that he was in season 4 of The Walking Dead, which was 2013.
Oh, right, okay. Is that season 4, was it?
Yeah,
oh, right, okay.
But I think it's only the end he comes in season 4.
Right, okay.
Or maybe, around about the middle. But yeah, season 4.
Oh,
The Walking Dead, he appears. Again, great. I mean, fuck it. David Morrissey's a fantastic actor.
Oh, brilliant.
He's just great in just about everything I've seen him in. And he's great in this. Again, hard-assed editor, but he does kind of care a little bit, but I don't know, he is a little bit, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
When, you're just a fat lass that makes the coffee, but then he does kind of turn round again at the end. It's so beautiful when she walks into the pub and he's like, well, I guess I've got to offer you a job now.
Well, he evidently sees something in her, I think he kind of admires her tenacity and her desire to get ahead. You know what I mean? He's it's a bit on the nose, but he's clearly like sort of jaded, old kind of newsman. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a lot of respect for the kind of middle-aged guys out in his kind of writers, whatever they call it, bullpen, writer's room, whatever, newsroom, whatever, So this young girl with a bit about her who's clearly intelligent and whatnot, he can't quite drop the mask of being a bit chauvinistic and a bit, pre-too, as they say. But he does, like...
It's your new favourite term, isn't it?
Brilliant. But he does... he comes through with her. He's even gonna go with her to do it to investigate it together. But she says no. She wants to go with Terry. Because he's like, I was a fucking journalist before I was an editor or something like that, he says to her, doesn't he? But no, he's so good, David Morrissey. And he's one of these guys, he just seems to have always been around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just seems to have always been. I think one of the first things I remember him being in was an old crime programme. I wasn't allowed to watch it. I saw a bit of it, and then my mother saw how violent it was and sent me to bed. It was on when I was maybe about 9 or 10. I think it was called Finney, and it was a sort of gangster thing. I think it was set in Newcastle, and I think it was a sequel to a film called Blue Monday or something like that with Sean Bean, and the TV show was a kind of sequel. I'm sure it was called Finney. and he plays like the sort of Michael Corleone in the first Godfather, who is trying to stay out of all the family business, if I remember it correctly. But as I say, I wasn't able to watch it because my mother caught a bit of it, and somebody was getting shot in the back of the head as they were running away, and there was a big cloud of blood, and she was like, right, get that off, go to bed.
No, he's been around for a while, and he's been in, as you say, a lot of stuff. Obviously, probably most famously, kind of the governor in The Walking Dead is kind of the worldwide kind of role. But yeah, he's been in so many things. He was in the Red Riding series. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Mate, it was so good. And the books are even better. I read the books are brilliant.
Yeah, I read the books before I watched the TV show, and just absolutely loved them. And of course, he was in a show. I seem to remember. I think it was with Sheridan Smith. It was about like some. It was like these people that meet on a train, but they have an affair or something. Basically, these two people that get a train every single day at the same time, and then they, what's like make eye contact, and then they start talking, and then they end up having this full-blown affair. But yeah, I think it was with like Olivia Colman as well. Right. She played his wife. Right. But Sheridan Smith was what he had an affair with. But yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and he's brilliant in this. Like, really good. Really, really enjoyed seeing him in this.
Yeah, he's very good.
I guess that covers kind of Brian Pettifer is probably the only member of the news team that we haven't covered. But he doesn't have a huge role in this, but he does enough, kind of pops up. He's, I guess, like the union rep in terms of, what's it they call him? It's Father...
I can't remember.
Not sure, but Father something. But he's
Father Richards.
Effectively
Father Richards.
Father Richards. Yeah. He's effectively the union rep for the news team. And it's Brian Pettifer. I'm happy to see him in anything.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's really good in it. And this sort of role he's sort of great at. He doesn't have hundreds and hundreds of lines, but like the scene when he confronts Dr. Pete in the pub, who's phoned in sick. And and Pete sort of gives him the news in a fairly barbed way, and he sort of comes right down, and you can see that you can just from Pettifer's performance, you can. And Capaldi's, I suppose, too. You get the feeling that these guys go way back. And Richards at the very least has got a lot of respect for Dr. Pete. You know what I mean? It's not clear whether the feeling's mutual, but you do get that. You do get that feeling from him and all that. He sort of comes right down off his high horse when he realises Dr. Pete's condition.
What are you going to talk to me or what?
You disappear, phone in sick, then sit in here all day. What's wrong with you?
Cancer.
Balls.
No, liver actually. And this bar is where I want to be.
I'm sorry to hear that, Peter.
Again, he's just, he's one of these guys that's just been fucking banging out brilliant performances like forever. But not like massive leading roles, but just like showing up and adding so much value to whatever he turns up in,
Yeah, he's just in so much. I mean, we'll speak about Get Duked again.
He's brilliant in that.
Performance of that is fantastic when he's speaking about the bread thief. But he'll always be, Ramsay Nesbitt is the kind of, for me, Brian Pettifer, but he's just in so much. And I guess... there's three other actors I would like to speak about, and we can fire through them quite quickly. Is Gavin Mitchell, who we saw at King Charles's coronation today, as dressed as Nick Cave, as Henry Naismith, and Gavin Mitchell he's such a great actor as well. I love him. It's a shame he'll always be Bobby the barman.
Yeah.
He'll always going to be typecast as that and always going to be known as that. But he's a really good actor, and he's really good in this as well. You're really kind of believable, a bit creepy, which is what I guess he's intended to be. Yeah. But I don't know, just kind of a good guy when he's on about how he went down a dark road and Jesus kind of saved his life, and you kind of believe in it. But why is he giving a packet of refreshers away to a young girl for free? He's obviously expecting someone in return for that.
Yeah, so they sort of build it up. So when we think that he is the culprit, it's like, well, there's no surprise. Look at him, he's fucking Jesus Saves fan and handing out refreshers, and he remembers her for the refreshers. You know what I mean? He's I never forget a customer. and all that. I mean, there is a great line when it's in reference to him as opposed to by him, but when when Paddy's not interviewing, but talking to the wee boy about what time the ice cream van comes, and she says, what about the grocers? Do everybody speaks from him? And she's like, no. He's like, no, his sweeties are pish. It really made me laugh. But yeah, I mean, he's great in this, and I didn't see the sort of sting, the sort of twist in the tail coming at all. Actually, it's sort of dawning on me about 5 seconds after it's dawning on Paddy, you know what I mean? When she sees the picture of Naismith the Younger, played by, what's his name, Brian Vernal. He's just done Gangs of London. That sort of guy, not Guy Ritchie, the Gareth Edwards. Is it Gareth Edwards? See the Rogue One guy, the director. I know Gareth Edwards is also a Welsh rugby player, but is it? So not the guy who did Rogue One and The Raid and all that. Is it Gareth Edwards?
Yeah, I think it is. I always get Gareth Edwards and Garth Ennis kind of mixed up, but yeah, I think it's Gareth Edwards. Yeah, Garth
Ennis is the Preacher writer and the Boys writer. Yeah, but so he's just done a couple of series of that with Joe Cole from Peaky Blinders. So yeah, I'd sort of forgotten about him because when we see him in the first episode, he's just sort of in and out. I think he calls himself Kevin Docherty or something like that. So you've sort of forgotten about him by the time of that reveal when she sees his picture in the photo album back at Mrs. Dempsey's house.
You kind of know, because as soon as you see Gavin Mitchell, you're kind of thinking, well, it's him, but we've watched enough of this stuff to know it's not going to be him. There's something else.
There's more to it.
That's going to come up. Yeah. But then I'd never thought when she meets Kevin McCorkle, as he calls himself, you just think that's kind of a throwaway character. You don't think he's going to maybe see him again, never think he's going to come up. And as soon as the photo comes up, it's like, holy shit, it's him. And then it just all, fits into place and makes complete sense. But yeah, great turn from Gavin Mitchell, yeah. And then the last two I would speak about is the two cops, Derek Riddle and Pinball.
Yeah.
Ruane.
Yeah. I know, I think it's so weird. It's so strange seeing him because he looks like a young teenage guy, even as a grown man. And I don't mean that disparagingly at all, but, he was obviously famous for being in Sweet 16, famous for doing quite a long run in River City. We've had him on again in The Angel Share as one of the cast in that. But he's sort of ever young, and playing that type of sort of, I don't want to say Nedish because I think it's unfair, but that type of character. And then suddenly here he is in his sort of long dress jacket and his shirt and tie playing a detective constable or whatever he's meant to be. I was like, fucking hell. Pinball's sorted himself out.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a small part, but it is, it's great. It's almost like if it was a serious version of the two Andys from Hot Fuzz, it would kind of be like what they're like, the pair of them. They're when they're kind of giving Paddy a bit of shit in the stairwell, like kind of leave the business to us, love, but we'll look after it. We're the police, we'll deal with it. Being really condescending, but he's great. It's always good to see him in anything, and of course Derek Riddle. It's always good to see him in absolutely anything as well. Kind of blink and you'll miss it. He's not in a huge amount, but
he's another one that
very well.
You only see him for a second in the first episode. Just when Paddy's in the police station and she sees her wee cousin being led through the corridor. And he's the one, he kind of looks back, and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, it's Derek Riddle. I forgot he was in this.
I want to give a shout out as well to something that I think is so well done in this series. Is the soundtrack, but the way the soundtrack is delivered to you is through Paddy's headphones when she's walking somewhere. And you get the Jam, you get Elvis Costello, XTC, Talking Heads, the Sensational Acts, Harvey Band, the Rolling Stones, and Hank Williams later on, but that's more in kind of the rate flat. But amazing soundtrack in this, but I just liked the way it was delivered. I thought it was quite clever that it's always just whenever Paddy's walking somewhere, she's got headphones on, she's listening to something different.
So do you think they play just enough of the music? Because you can play a certain amount of a certain amount of a song you can play without having to pay any royalties, can't you? So,
no, I reckon they would have had to pay. Probably, yeah, I would have thought so.
Fair enough.
The only other question I've really got is, so where did Paddy hide that flake that she took in for her cousin?
Well, I mean, was that before or after our night with Terry?
It was after our night with Terry.
Oh, fucking hell. Maybe once to just go, maybe I'll run that under the tap before you eat it.
Do you think I mean, what is it? It's her cousin's kid, effectively. So it's not like her
second cousin. Yeah.
I mean, effectively, he did kill Brian. Like, I know he was forced to.
Yeah.
But he still killed him. Surely, he's still going to get done for something. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on... I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the age of... They do say that the age of accountability is 8 years old in Scotland. They say...
Yeah.
Like, what? Really?
Yeah.
I
was quite shocked at that, yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case now, but I don't know.
No, it's not now, I don't think so.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. It's you know, he's at the end of the day, he's a wee boy in fear of his life. You know, he's been made to do something. I feel like he'd probably be all right to get away with it. I think not get away with it. You know what I mean? But he'd probably walk away from it. But yeah, I mean, to go back to what we were saying earlier on, I mean, fucking hell. I mean, it's a grim sort of not resolution, but expose of what happened. You know what I mean? Like reveal. That's what I meant for. So it's a grim reveal.
Yeah.
The scene that we spoke about earlier in the cell when the wee boy sort of tells his dad and Paddy what happened. Not prepared for it in the slightest.
No, I know, it's horrific. Absolutely horrific. I can't believe I wasn't prepared for the words that came out of his mouth.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, he's just sitting there reading the dandy. He's about to eat his flake. I was going to say something really bad. He's going to eat his smuggled in flake, and then he has to confess that. Horrible situation.
He's going to eat his warm flake.
It's melted. It'll just be congealed into one big mess. It'll be like a twirl.
Honestly, it'll be hellish when he opens it and turns.
It'll be like a fishy twirl. So. Good on Paddy at the end, though, for biting the fuck out of her potential rapist.
But the thing is, this was a nit that I had to pick. So he accosts her on the street and he fucking knocks her out, right? Knocks her clean out. She comes round in his flat. Yeah. They have words. He fucking tans her again with a telephone or something. Knocks her clean out. So she's gonna have a concussion on top of concussion, and then just off to the pub later on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was the early 80s, mate. That's just what you did. You got up and got on with it.
Just walk it off. Right, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. No one else for it. But no, I absolutely loved this. I really did. And I'm genuinely, I can't wait to watch series 2. I hope it's not a disappointment. It's a shame because the author, it's a trilogy of books she wrote about Paddy.
Yeah.
They never made the third book. So the second series is based on the second book. So I hope it doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Or something. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
You know, so I'm not sure. Because you would think she'd written the first book, then probably thought, okay, right, I'm going to make a trilogy, written a second, I'll write the third. So I just hope it's not kind of left that way.
Yeah.
We'll see when we eventually get round to watching it.
I mean,
but I'll probably watch it before.
Yeah, I mean the name is a bit weird. Like the Field of Blood is a bit of a strange name, unless they're referring to like where they found the wee boy. But they don't make they don't sort of make enough of it that it's a field. You know what I mean?
No, they find him in the canal.
Well, it's a canal, yeah. So it should be the Canal of Blood then, not the Field of Blood.
Yeah.
Like, the second book that is called The Dead Hour, which is a wee bit Taggarty in terms, you know, because Taggart, they've got some of those names like Murder in Season and what's some other ones? Yeah, Dead Ringers and stuff like that. You know, it's a bit on the nose, or not, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, have you got anything else on Field of Blood that you want to cover?
I think it's time to put Field of Blood through our Swally Awards.
I'm looking forward to this because I've got a few. Okay. What have we got first then, Greg?
So first up then is the Bobby the Barman Award for the best pub.
Well, I did initially have McVeigh's glove box, but then obviously it's the press bar they all go to. I'd fucking love to go there. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Grill.
Yeah,
It's like a nice little snuggy kind of bar. And like I said earlier in the episode, I could just smell the smoke and the whiskey and the I'd love to go for a pint there.
Serious drinkers only in the me too. The next one then, the James Cosmo Award for being in everything Scottish.
What did you go for? Who did you go for? Sorry.
So for me, it was a bit of a toss up between Matt Costello and Brian Pettifer. I couldn't quite.
I've got Costello, Pettifer, McCole on my list purely because McCole is so high up in our Swally tally. And so is Costello now, but Pettifer is also in everything. And I just genuinely, I'd say McCole, maybe I've just included him because he is in a lot of the stuff we've covered. I would say Costello or Pettifer. Can I give it to Pettifer?
Yeah.
I think genuinely, if you look at the sheer volume of stuff he's been in, and as we said, he pops up in just random roles for things. So does Costello, to be fair, but. I think if you looked at Scottish stuff, Pettifer's probably done exclusively more Scottish stuff than Costello has. Because did you not say before Costello was in Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah, I might have mentioned it a couple of times. The most surprising thing about Matt Costello is that he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Whereas
really?
Brian Pettifer does have a Wikipedia, but Costello is Wikipedia-less, doesn't have one. The second series has got Ron Donaghy in it and David Heyman.
That's going to blow this wide open.
But Pettifer, Morrissey, Kieran, Gallagher and Johnson and Costello all appear in the second series as well, according to...
it's going to be a fight to the death
according to Wikipedia.
The second series then.
Speaking of fights, next award then, the Jake McQuillan Your Teazoot Award.
There's a few, but it has to be, for me, Paddy flushing head down the toilet. Yeah. It's brilliant. I mean, you could argue, I guess, in case of Paddy getting her head hit with a telephone and stuff, but no, it's without a doubt Paddy.
It seems distasteful to give it to her. Yeah.
It's Paddy flushing header's head down the pan because that's Teazoot. She deserves it.
She does. It's a right.
She totally deserves it. So it's a rite of passage. Yeah, she deserves that.
Righteous punishment. The old bog washing. Next then, the Ewan McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity. BBC One. 9 p.m. drama, no nudity.
No nudity. Yeah. Nothing at all.
Unless you count Jonas Armstrong wandering about with his shirt off in the morning.
That's all we get, but no, nothing.
Next then, the Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing. What did you go for here?
I've mentioned it before because it was the one that made me laugh the most. And it's not... there's a lot of swearing in this, to be fair. But the one that made me laugh the most was from McVeigh. And it was after Heather gets the bucket of piss thrown on her and he says, anyway, you were lucky, she might have needed a shite.
Yeah.
But what did you go for? Because there was a lot of good swearing in this.
Yeah, well, I had the shite one as well. I was trying to remember because I didn't write it down at the time, but there's David Morrissey says in his first scene he says something about and I'm quoting here, but it says something about Paddy Meehan's minge, which
yes, he does.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but I made a note of David Morrissey minge, thinking it would make me remember. It would make me remember what he said, but I can't remember. That made me laugh for Kieran.
She is flavour of the month with editorial because she brought in an important story, so it is all right. And you remember who you're talking to. You're a minger away from getting your marching orders.
Archetypal Scottish moment.
What did you go for then?
I had Dr. Pete's big red Jakey beak.
It was magnificent, actually. It was really magnificent. There must have been a lot of makeup put on that, but he had a huge red beak. Yeah. Absolutely not astonishing.
What did you go for?
I went with the stash of macaroons in the filing cabinet, or probably, let's be honest, McVeigh's wee half bottle in the glove box.
It did make me laugh. Like McVeigh, he's having like some office drams, but he's sort of being a bit sort of conspicuous about it. But he's right in the middle of the fucking busiest office. There's people standing like 3 feet away from him, and he's like he's having like a wee shot of whiskey. Like no one's going to notice, you know. And then the last one, who won the TV show? Who do you think is the winner?
I think we'll both be in agreement here. It's Jade Johnson, isn't it?
Yeah, she's absolutely sensational in it. Like for someone who's had her break on a soap opera, and not like a national soap opera like Coronation Street or EastEnders, but like River City, which is, I don't even know if it's shown in England, but to go from a part in that to the lead up against these like veteran Scottish male actors, you know, because there's not really a lot of women in this, really, when you think about it. There's her, there's her mum, there's her two sisters, there's Heather for the first episode at least, there's the wee boy's mum, who we see at the beginning. We don't really see her, we see her hanging out the window before she soaks Heather and pish, but that's kind of it. Well, there's Mrs. Dempsey, I suppose. But it's mostly guys. It's quite a male production. So for her to come in and really hold her own against these guys, when comparatively she's quite inexperienced as an actress compared to these guys who've been acting for 20, 30 years in some cases. Yeah, she's very, very good. I would give like a sort of silver medal though to Peter Capaldi, because he's just fucking, I mean, I can watch Peter Capaldi in anything. I think he's brilliant. But he's particularly good in this.
I would agree with you on that. Obviously Jade Johnson for me, she's just phenomenal. But I agree, Capaldi, and it's so odd for him to just be like have one line in episode 1 and then effectively, you know, kind of not steal the show, but really kind of save the day and steal the show in episode 2. It's Capaldi's just brilliant. And I agree, I'll watch him in anything, although I've never seen a single episode of Doctor Who he's been in. Maybe I should watch that, I don't know.
He's good. He's good in Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who, but he's really good in it, I think. But he'll always be Malcolm Tucker.
Always. Always.
So good.
Always be Malcolm Tucker. Just absolutely. I'm going to watch the thick of it again because he's just so good. Just fucking. I don't know if my wife would get it. I don't know if she'd understand. It's more the political aspect. I wonder if she'd understand. But I would love her to watch the thick of it just to see Tucker's rants. Although I'd be a bit scared she'd pick up some terms of abuse that she could throw back at me. She's going to call me an omnishambles.
Yeah. Omnishambles, that's brilliant. Oh dear. Anyway, so The Field of Blood was my choice, which means that it is your choice for the next episode, Nicky. So what am I going to be watching over the next week or two?
Well, I thought we'd move on from the early 80s, Greg, on our next episode. And I'd like to look at a film that was also based on a book by a Scottish author, but it wasn't a novel, it was a collection of short stories. So much like Field of Blood, it has a fantastic cast with a lot of familiar faces. So we're going to take a trip to 1998 and a trip to the adaptation of Irvine Welsh's The Acid House.
Okay. I've not watched that for a long time.
Let's, The Acid House it is. So let's see how we go on. Yeah, I haven't watched that for a very long time either. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how it holds up. And again, you're going to think we're biased here. We're genuinely not, but it's another Stephen McCole film. Anyway, right, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to get in touch with us with anything you've seen in the news or anything you'd like us to cover, or just to get in touch and say hello, then you can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the socials on Insta @cultureswallypod or on Twitter @swallypod. And Greg, we have a beautiful website as well, don't you?
Yep, you can find it.
Do we?
We do. You can find us at cultureswally.com. It's got links to all our socials, some blog posts, some articles about Scottish media and culture. So come and have a look. Let us know your thoughts.
Wonderful. Right, so are you off to go and watch the bits of the coronation that you missed when you were cooking?
Well, when just to lift the curtain on the production here, when you nipped off there to get your shopping in, I took my headphones off and I could hear what sounded like a bit of coronation sort of preamble going on from the other room. So I suspect when I go through, my wife will be catching up on the bits that she missed today. So I might just go to bed.
Yeah, probably a sensible option. Yeah. And the only coronation I would like would be Coronation Street and Coronation Chicken. But I'm vegetarian now. But the supermarket here does a very good vegetarian coronation chicken.
Oh, really?
I'll maybe partake that and think of Charlie when I'm having that.
Think of Charlie's big sausage fingers when you're having your vegetarian coronation chicken.
That's a good point. I might get some vegan sausages as well. Okay. Right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you very soon with The Acid House. Till next time, Greg.
Till next time.
Why do you want to be like them anyway? Mean-spirited bunch of bastards, every last one of them. And not just this lot.
Worked all over before I came here, you know. Manchester, London, they're all the same. Hearts like bone. Minds trained to think the worst of everybody, eh? Is that how you want to end up?
I was 8 when the Paddy Meehan story broke. He'd still be in jail if it wasn't for a journalist. Sometimes we're a person's last chance. When nobody else believes them, when everybody's got bored of the story, we can still make a difference. I don't want to be like them. I want to be a journalist.
Fuck me, I've just had a Frank Capra moment.